We are diving deep today into a topic that, on the surface, it really just looks like celebrity gossip.
Right.
But when you actually start to peel back the layers, it reveals this really profound case study on relationships.
Mhm.
We're looking at Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker.
Hmm.
So our mission is pretty straightforward. We're going to take the source material, and that covers everything from Travis's recent, very lavish 50th birthday party to a really critical scene in The Kardashians.
That running scene.
Exactly. And we're going to use all of that as a framework to understand the psychological line between what is loving support and what crosses over into, boundary infringement.
And the sources are great because they actually have insights from a licensed relationship therapist beige right in, so we can pull out those key ideas for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. This deep dive is really designed to show you why this one particular celebrity moment resonated so widely. It's like a mirror,
Yeah.
It helps us analyze those subtle power dynamics, the communication failures that can sneak into even the most intense relationships.
Right. It's about what happens when good intentions clash with a lack of responsiveness.
That's it.
Okay, so let's set the scene first with the celebration, because the contrast here is really important. Travis just turned 50.
Yeah, and Kourtney, who's 46, she went all out. The idea was to create this super dramatic, romantic vibe at their LA home. The sources describe a scene of just like intense affection.
And when you say intense, what are we talking about?
Well, it wasn't just a casual party. We're talking massive, countless white balloons hanging from the ceilings and candles just lining the stairs all the way up to the entrance.
Creating this runway of light.
Yeah, runway of light. That's a good way to put it. All leading to this long dining table outside. And even the cake was part of the aesthetic. A crisp, white star shape that just read, "Happy 50th birthday, Travis." It screams dedication.
It's a huge public statement. And the guest list was a statement too, right? About their complex family situation.
Oh, absolutely. Khloe Kardashian was there.
Which is a big deal, considering the bitter feud we've all seen play out on the show between her and Kourtney.
Hmm. It confirms that for these big family moments, they still present a unified front. Travis's daughter, Alabama, was there too, and his stepdaughter, Tiana De La Hoya.
So it's this big public display of love, unity, everything is perfect.
Yes, but the sources are really clear that this huge celebration came right after an even more intense digital storm. A huge debate that all started with something as simple as a morning run on their show.
And this is where it gets really specific and where I think the analysis has to begin. The scene involves Kourtney, who is a new mother.
Right, recently postpartum.
Yeah.
She just had their son, Rocky. So she's physically vulnerable, she's recovering, she's breastfeeding. And the sources make it very clear she communicated her limits before they even started.
What does she say?
She literally set out her boundaries. She told Travis she was only ready to run in like 1 or 2 minute intervals. She even reminded him that she was breastfeeding.
And she explicitly said she was not prepared for a long workout.
Exactly. That is the definition of communicating your needs up front.
But Travis just completely ignores that. He insists on holding her hand, which can be an act of intimacy, sure, but then he refuses to let go.
Right. And by not letting go, he's maintaining his pace, a steady, fast pace. Kourtney even says that because he wouldn't release her hand, she felt forced to keep up with his rhythm, not her own.
And this is the part that just blew up online. You see her distress in real time. She's protesting. She says she's not running crazy. And at one point she says she feels like she might pass out.
Or throw up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just gentle encouragement. That's someone communicating acute physical distress.
There's even that really telling moment at a water station where she basically has to bargain with him. She says, if you let me drink this, I'll keep running with you.
It's not a partnership at that point. It's a negotiation under duress.
Totally.
And here's what makes it so complicated. What stops it from being a simple, he's the bad guy story.
Yeah.
The outcome.
Right after the run, she does thank him. She says he motivated her. She gives him a kiss. She finished the run.
She did. She met the goal he set for her. But, and this is a huge but-o, the sources emphasized that the physical toll was obvious. She was complaining about nausea and specifically said her breasts were tingling and itching.
Which is such a specific signal of the strain on a postpartum breastfeeding body.
A critical signal.
And that duality, the thank you, followed by the very real physical sickness, is what allowed a single clip of this run to get, over 1.1 million views on TikTok.
And kicked off what the sources called a fierce debate.
The negative reaction was so loud, I think, because it felt really visceral for a lot of people watching.
Oh, for sure. The criticism really honed in on that power imbalance. People online were calling him possessive and a bully. A lot of people were calling it a serious red flag.
And the main issue wasn't even the running itself, was it? It was the safety. Forcing an untrained postpartum woman, who is also much shorter than him, to keep his pace for 30 minutes while ignoring her.
Exactly. One person was quoted saying that forcing someone to keep up like that is actually so mean, it's not encouraging at all.
But then you have the other side.
Of course, a pretty big group of defenders who insisted they saw nothing wrong with it. They saw him refusing to let go as pure motivation.
Their argument being he helped her push through a mental barrier, achieve something she wouldn't have done otherwise.
And that his pace was just a necessary push to get her there.
So you have this huge split right down the middle. Is it control or is it support? And this is where we can bring in the expert analysis from the source material, which is so useful. A licensed sexologist and relationship therapist, Sophie Roos, she weighed in on this.
And her central thesis is really the key takeaway from this whole thing. She says the entire controversy is a textbook example of a clash between, and this is her phrase, love intent and lack of responsiveness.
Okay, break that down.
Well, Roos notes that holding hands is supposed to be an act of intimacy. But the moment Travis kept doing it after Kourtney so clearly expresses discomfort, it stops being intimacy and becomes a lack of respect for her boundaries.
So why do we miss that distinction? Is it just not listening?
Roos suggests it's mainly a failure to listen. It's driven by prioritizing your own agenda, even if you think your intention is good. She says the core issue is the balance between support and what she calls self-determination.
Self-determination.
Yeah. Real support helps your partner determine their own limits and success. It doesn't determine it for them.
So if his intention was loving, where did it cross that line into being controlling?
According to Roos, it became problematic the second Travis decided he knew better. Her quote is, Travis didn't listen to her in the moment and thought he knew better. That's the pivot. The moment you override what your partner is telling you because you think your way is better, you're not supporting anymore. You're controlling.
So the difference is feeling pressed versus feeling allowed.
Precisely. Roos says that this lack of listening makes it turn into a controlling behavior because love should be felt as something safe also in the moment and not as something pressing. And when you feel pressed, even by a good intention, that feeling of safety is gone.
And we have to talk about the postpartum context again because Roos said this was the most critical factor.
It's so important for understanding just how serious that boundary breach was.
Yeah.
Roos points out that a body recovering from childbirth is extra sensitive. You're dealing with hormones, physical recovery, zero sleep. Small things can feel huge.
And that's why the mention of her breasts tingling and itching was so significant.
Yes, it underlines that Kourtney was dealing with real, non-negotiable physical constraints related to breastfeeding. A partner in that situation has to be, extra responsive.
Bigger responsive, yeah.
And if they're not, Roos says it very easily comes off as them ignoring their partner's needs in a very bad way.
So what was the alternative? What should he have done?
The sources offer a really simple one. Roos suggests Travis could have just said, we can walk the last bit and run more if you feel like it.
That one tiny change honors her autonomy while still being supportive.
Exactly. And that's why the backlash wasn't just about some celebrity drama. It was a shared emotional reaction. Roos says the reaction was so strong because so many people seeing themselves in this situation.
Where a partner does something that looks like love on the surface.
But it feels controlling because your needs were just dismissed. It's an incredibly common and relatable feeling.
So this whole debate really reflects these much deeper questions, doesn't it? About power in relationships, about how well we actually listen to our partners, especially when it comes to their body, and whether the modern balance in relationships really is as equal as we want to think it is.
Right. And you also have to wonder about the fact she kissed him afterwards. That might show a learned pattern of minimizing your own discomfort just to keep the peace or to show gratitude for the intention, even if the impact was harmful. And that's another dynamic the public really picked up on.
So looking past the headline, the real knowledge you can take away from this is that true support has to be responsive support. It must listen to and yield to clearly stated boundaries.
Especially when physical or emotional discomfort is on the table.
And that leaves us with, I think, a final thought for you to really consider. If intention is the only thing we use to judge whether an act is supportive or controlling, how do we ever really tell the difference between the partner who genuinely thinks they're helping and the one who is just prioritizing their own pace, their own preference, over their partner's very clearly stated pain.